Oh, excuse me. Oh. What's underneath the y plus 4 quantity square that you don't see? 1. Is this a hyperbola, parabola, circle, or ellipse? It's a hyperbola because there's what? Subtraction. Good. So it's an x squared hyperbola, which means if we look at our calculator or our notes or whatever we have, so is it going to go left, right, or up and down? Left, right. So we know it's going to do this. Okay. Start by labeling everything you know. Your center. Your center is going to be at 0, -4. There's h, there's k. All right. From there, we know that a squared is 16, b squared is 1, c squared 17. A plus or minus 4, b plus or minus 1, c plus or minus the square root of 17. Start your graph. When you start your graph, I'm at 0, -4 for my center, so I put that as my center. Your A value is your distance from your center to your vertex. We know it's going to go left and right, so I need to go left and right 4. Up and down 1, and make our rectangle. Draw your asymptotes. That's kind of a squiggly asymptote, but you get the idea. The value of C is the distance from your center to your focus. It is going to be greater than what your distance from your center to your vertex was because the vertex has to look at it. So square root of 17 happens to be a little bit more than the square root of 16. So it is on the outer edges of 4 and -4. Here-ish and here-ish. Your favorite part of the day, hug your asymptote, go through the vertex, and hug your asymptote. Last but not least, label your points. Oh, we'll get the asymptotes here in a second. So we have vertex at, what was it? 4, -4, -4, -4. Co-vertex at 0, -3, 0, -5. Foci at root 17, -4.
Wait, isn't it -4? Oh, man.
And then negative root 17 and -4. I'd have to get asymptotes still. I'm not done. Write the equation of the lines with your asymptotes. This one's really easy because you have a y-intercept at -4, so all you have to do is just get your slopes. Our slope, we went up 1 over 4, down 1 over 4, so your slopes are plus or minus 1/4. The equation, since this is the y-intercept, is really easy. It's y equals -1/4 x minus 4, and y equals 1/4 x minus 4.
You didn't want us to do it in like point slope form?
You can, but you already knew that your y-intercept, because your vertex is at 0, -4, that's a y-intercept.
Okay.
If you got to put it in point slope form, you would have gotten the same thing.
Okay.
It just would have been an extra step, that's all.
Oh wait, but it needs to end in sloping step form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick? So we should ask you. This one is your hyperbola. Ah, sorry, parabola, excuse me.
Because that's
Yeah, since there's only one square term, it's going to be a parabola. It's a y squared parabola, so that means it's got to go left or right. So we know that it's going to be this one has to be a right-facing parabola because this value here is positive. So what we do is we have our center will be at -2 and 4. That's the spot that most people will screw up because the y came first. You'll write down that's your h when in fact it's actually your k. We know that the 4p has to equal 3. I see a lot of erasing. Is that what you did? Yeah. And that's what'll happen. Okay. Your 4p value, set that equal to 3, so p is 3/4. So now we start. -2, 4. There's my center. My focus is going to be 3/4 to the right of it. So I have to add 3/4 to the x value. I add 3/4 to that. Why, hello!
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. What do you, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want them?
Oh, then just.
Oh, come on, take it. You're out of here. I'm joking. No, really, I'm joking. See you, LeBlanc. So since I'm moving, I know that I have to go to the right. I just have to add 3/4 to that. So that means my foci would be at, or focus, because there's only one of them. What would that be? -1 1/4 and 4. And my directrix is going to do this. My directrix is going to be a vertical line, adding 3/4, or I should say subtracting 3/4 to that at x equals -2 and 3/4. Times like this, it's not the end of the world if you use a decimal, because it's like a quarter, 3/4, things like that. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, you can write in a fraction if you want, but it's, whenever I have a halvesy or like a quarter, sometimes it's about the only time I'll ever use a decimal, because sometimes it's easier to write up the numbers for the ordered pairs. That's all. And that's what that looks like.
Wait, how did you get negative 1 and a quarter? Obviously, you're something.
I had, remember the focus, if you're looking at it, so I had to add to the -2. -2 plus 3/4 is -1 and -1 and a
I
quarter.
thought it was what is abscess?
That's for slope. That's if you're. Shall we add to this? Let's talk about writing equations given values. This is the fun stuff. Oh. Get all these people to visit us today. More visitors. How are you? Emma! Ah. Well, that was easy.
That was easy.
Do. Let's write the equation of a circle that has a center of 4, -1 and a radius of 7. You'll be given information. Write out the equation. Circle with the we'll add to it. We're gonna add to these. Circle with the center and a radius.
Do you want us to do this like under our homework?
Well, no, we're doing this in our notes. We're gonna add to your homework. Well, like as in like problems I give you tonight, you'll add to it. So what you want to do is, first of all, have the formula for your circle in front of you, so that way you know what it looks like. This format here is not the one that we use. We will explain that later, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. So all I have to do here is just fill in the blanks. The center is your HK. So you do x minus 4 quantity squared plus y plus 1 quantity squared equals 7 squared. What is 7 squared? Does the circle need any further explanation? It's nice to start out with something easy.
That's the answer.
Done. That's it. Be honest with you, if you want to do this, and I've had kids do this before, you know how you're writing it all out, 7 squared, then if you write it like this and just say 49, because you don't leave it in square term, we write it out, just do that. That's fine. You don't have to rewrite or erase it and do whatever. Okay? That's fine if you want to leave it like that. Okay? You guys are really waiting for it to get bad, aren't you? Hey, guess what they'll always tell you? They'll always tell you what shape it is. That's nice.
They will?
Yeah.
So like, on our, well, we didn't do that in our homework, because we just like did it based off of, it's like a line, so.
Yeah. I mean, today a lot of times they will, I think all the problems in the book, I believe they give you the shape. If they don't give you the shape, you can still figure it out. Because if you happen to be given like a vertex and focus, if the focus are inside the vertex, they're looking at each other, it's an ellipse. If they're away from each other, it's got to be a hyperbola. So as we get into this more complicated, I'll show you guys how we can make this stuff work by just doing a quick plot. Plotting quick graphs for these things are key. That way you can understand where your A, B's, and C's and stuff are coming from. So right here they're telling you we have an ellipse with foci at blah blah and blah blah. So I'm going to do this and get my ellipse out and look at it so I know I can try to figure out which direction it's going so that way I know how to write it out. So I have this in front of me on my calculator or written down in my notes. I'm not going to make you memorize that. So you've got that going for you, which is nice. So we start. You have foci at 2, -4, and 5, -4. Oh. Sorry, going the wrong direction. Here's my foci. And then vertices, -1, -4. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4. Which way is this being stretched? Very good. Being stretched left and right. Because these guys are all on the same line, they have to be stretched out this way. It's got to be that. Now, what we need to do is identify where the center is. I bet you could probably figure out what the y value is at the center. It's at -4, so we start with our h and k, our center. We know it's got to be at -4, but it's also the halfway point of the foci. It's the halfway point of the vertices. That's all it is. It's just the midpoint. It's just the midpoint. What's 2 + 5? What's half of that? There it is. Could I have done that with the vertices? Absolutely. Could I have done that if I had co-vertices? Absolutely. The center will always be the midpoint of vertices, co-vertices, foci. Always, always, always. I just added them together. That's it. So there's your h and your k. We know it's being stretched left and right. That means my distance from center to focus Well, how far away is 3.5 to 5? 1.5. So my C value is 1.5. From center to vertex, well, how far away is 3.5 to 8? So now I gotta figure out what B is. Well, when I'm working with an ellipse, is it a squared plus b squared, or is it a squared minus b squared? Minus. The reason we remember that is it's always the opposite of what the formula is. It's a nice shortcut. So we start filling it out. Let me stop here for a second. C squared is a squared minus b squared. So let's see, 1.5 squared is 4.5 squared minus b squared. Oh. Let's see, so 4.5 squared minus 1.5 squared is 18. There's your b squared, 18. Still got to figure out what 4.5 squared was. 20 1/4. Do I need to find out what the value of b is for this at all? Nope. Just write the equation. All I need to know is a squareds and b squareds. Go back to my equation. Oh, I already had it out here, sorry. So it's stretched left and right, which means the larger the two values goes underneath the x squared. Yeah. Oh, any questions? Let me just wait a minute. I can wait 5 to you. So we get, let's see, was it x minus 3.5 squared over 20 1/4. And there's your equation. I really don't think it's that terrible. It just takes a minute or two to do. Remember your distances. That was the whole big cake last week. Remember where everything goes. Okay? Remember where everything goes. Parabola. What do you think the first thing you're going to want to do is? Graphic, yeah, sketch it. Get an idea. That way you know which direction it's going. So, 3 -2. Vertex, and focus is at 3 -4. Which way is this opening? Down. Very good. So the distance that what it's doing is opening downward. So, what parabola which one of these opens up or down? It's an x squared. This would be an x squared parabola. Now, since it's opening downward, that means that it's going to have to be a negative p value. Everybody okay with that? So your distance then, from your center, your h and k, is 3 and -2. Your value of p, it looked downward, how far is it from center to focus? 2. So my p-value here is -2, because it's moving, it's looking down. Okay. Fill in the blanks. So we have x minus 3 quantity squared equals, can I just write -8? Reason why I'm writing it -8 because I'm taking this -2 for p, just doing that right away. And then I have y plus 2. I'm done. Yes, sir?
How do you get 4? Like, how do you get it?
How do you get p? P is the distance from the center to the focus. Okay. And remember, the opposite of p is the distance from center to directrix. A lot of times with the parabolas, knowing which way it's opening is going to be hugely important so that we know if your p-value be positive or negative. Because you know negative x squareds have to open downward. Negative y squareds have to open to the left. Did you guys have a good weekend? Okay, at least. Oh yeah, did you guys have conference or something? How'd it go? Nice, congrats.
We got, the guy got second, and then like the girl got third.
Oh really? I didn't see that in the paper. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yes, sir. And you know what else? Comes from the World Series. You guys don't even understand. You don't even understand. I can't even explain it to you. Oh. 45.
45
Yeah.
years of the year 45.
Year 45 was the last time they were in it. They haven't won it since 08. So 1908. Anyway, last quick one then. What year was I born? Sometime after 1945. What year do you think I was born?
1946. Were you born in?
Are you serious?
Were you born in 75?
Well, I don't know, you said sometime.
Are you serious?
Oh, you're kind of young. Like, not really.
He's just trying to think, how do I say this without coming off as a complete jerk?
No, you actually kind of are, because, like.
A jerk?
No, like.
Jeez.
No, you are kind of young. Like, you're the age that I predicted that you were. Like, I thought you were a certain age in my head. I thought you were 41, and you are 41.
Or 42.
41,
Yeah,
yes.
I knew it. That's cool that you were born in 1970.
Oh, you are kind of young.
Like, you look like you're 41.
Okay.
I think you look like you're in your mid-20s.
Well, thank you. Hey, just so you guys know, Emma now has an A+ in the class.
You look my dad, but he's like almost 40.
I got you. Hey, it's all that running that I do, right?
I respect that you went golf. My dad's over 20 years.
Yeah. I got plenty of gray hair, I'll tell you that. Hyperbola, so you got foci and vertices. So, gee, what do you think you're gonna do? Graphing. I'm telling you, graphing, rough sketch graphs are the way to go with these things. So if our foci are here and here, you can tell right away which way is it opening.
Up, down.
It's up, down. Has to be up, down. Okay. Look. So I'm going to get my hyperbola out. If it's opening up and down, what comes first? Y squared is going to come first. Okay. We know that the center is going to be at the midpoint of 2 and -6. So what's 2 plus -6? What's half of that? -2. So here's our center. Our HK will be at 5 and -2. And do that first. Now I have vertices at 5 and 0, and 5 and -4. So the distance from the center to the vertex is A. How far is -2 to 0? 2. So our A value is 2. Bless you. I thought you were saying 2.
I know.
2. And then how far is it to the focus? 4. It's 4, so our value of C is 4. It's a minus sign between the two, so C squared is going to be A squared plus B squared, very good. So we'll have 16 is 4 plus what? 12. So our B squared is, we don't have to, I don't have to worry about, I just know B squared. I don't have to worry about the value of B here at all. I just use the value to fill in the blanks. So our answer becomes y plus 2 quantity squared, over A squared was 4. And then it's subtraction between it, and we get x minus 5 quantity squared over 12 is 1. Do you see why I kept harping on you guys about making sure you understand what the A, B's, and C's stood for?
Wait,
And
what's
it's
the
consistent throughout. What's that?
What's B10?
Distance from the center to the covertex.
I know.
Why is it that the midpoint of the y values is your
Because the value for distances from the center to vertex, center to covertex, they're always the same going in both directions. So if it's the midpoint, going from the midpoint to the focus is 4, the midpoint to the focus the other way was down 4.
Oh,
So
wait.
that's where we get the plus minus. So your center is the midpoint of all of these things.
Yeah, so then, wait, but isn't the midpoint to focus, isn't that the
C.
C value?
Yeah.
So then why would it be K?
What do you mean?
For when you're finding your H
Oh,
and K.
all right. So this is the center. This is the center of the whole thing. Well, we knew that once we figured out I could use I used the focus. I could have used the vertex because I could have done this too. What's 0 plus -4? What's half of that? So what I'm doing there is I'm finding that what is the midpoint of those. This 5, since they're all vertical, they have to be. They're all going to be on the same x value. So we're just figuring out what's the y value. What's the midpoint y value from here to here, from here to here. That's all we're doing.
Oh,
Because it's the center. Okay. Hey, another reason why I use those nice little crooked lines when we're drawing through these things, it's easier to count. Plus, it looks kind of cool. What do you want from me? It's her, okay? You throw her under the bus all the time. Seriously. It's just, yeah, might as well. Do those.
13 to 20.
Yeah.
It's on the same page.
Yeah. Then tomorrow we'll start talking about how we work from the, what they call it, is it the standard form of a conic? What it's called? So tomorrow we'll talk about what's called the general second degree equation, which means a whole lot of completely squared. Whole lot of completely squared. Completely square is fun. That's a process. You guys are okay with just doing the same.
How do you go to the formula thing again?
Conics, and then hit optic, hit apps. And then I think is it option 4? Does anybody not have the Conic app on their calculator? So I know we had one kid 12th hour, I had to put it on there. Anybody else not have it? Very good conversation that we're having with you guys. This is excellent. Good feedback to me. Thank you. Appreciate it. It helps out a lot.
Everyone has Conic apps. Why would someone not have it?
Yeah, he didn't have it. It's what happens with some of these things when we check them back in. If there's ever like a problem where they have to do a hard reset, where we had to re-enter, re-download the operating system, sometimes some of the applications don't come with it. What's up?